Hi, I'm Tyler, and welcome to another episode of my Christian Music Week reviews. Each week I take 5 releases, be it albums, EPs, or singles, and after I've listened to them all week, I come back here and I repeat them. I share what I think about them. So without further ado, let's get to this week's first release, Cody Carnes' new album, Firm Foundation. Cody Carnes' new album, Firm Foundation. Let's dive into it. So pretty good album here. Stylistically, definitely a worship release that incorporates contemporary and alternative elements, and even pop rock elements at a couple of the album's more upbeat moments here. Pretty good album here, and as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here too. Cody Carnes talks about praising Jesus for his faithful love through his blood and resurrection that redeemed Cody free from sin to live a new life, where he trusts in Jesus to make a way for strength to get through the hard times. Up next, United Pursuit's new album. United Pursuit's new album. What could we become? Let's dive into it. So, pretty good album here. Stylistically, definitely a mix of alternative and folk stylings, with some worship influence in there as well. Pretty good album. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here. Kind of like the theme of this album. The album's called What Could We Become? And it really just is this envisionment of God growing us and changing us as we step out in faith. And as for the lyrics here, United Pursuit talks about how God's love pursued them to change their hard hearts, to step out in faith, to follow God's leading and reflecting Jesus' love, even in suffering. As they trust, God is strengthening them through it. Up next, Chris Renzema-Manna's new EP. Chris Renzema-Manna's new EP, Manna, Part 1. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good EP here. Stylistically, definitely a mix of alternative pop rock and folk, and I would say it's a pretty good balance between the two stylings here. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here. Chris talks about how in the midst of sinful doubt, in the midst of the waiting, Chris talks about how he puts his faith in Christ to be with him, to revive him from that, to trust in God to faithfully provide for Chris in the waiting. Up next, Derek Minor's new album, Nobody's Perfect. Derek Minor's new album, Nobody's Perfect. Let's dive into it. So, pretty good album here. Stylistically, definitely an emphasis on the R&B and hip-hop side of things, which does change things up, I think, a little bit vocally. We hear Derek Minor do more singing and sing-rapping and not entirely rapping, but don't make no mistake about it, though. Derek does rap at some points, but definitely more singing as well. There's a couple songs that are trap influence as well. Personally, I kind of wish there was a little more of the trap influence on this album, but this is still a good album with the R&B and hip-hop feel here. And as for the lyrics here, pretty good lyrics here. Derek talks about how stress from haters criticizing him over a painful past that God in His grace has forgiven Derek of makes Derek feel like giving up, but he relies on God to change him through it and resurrect him from it so he can live his purpose against the haters' odds. Up next, our last release for today, Future's new live album, Together with Heaven. Future's new live album, Together with Heaven. Let's dive into it. But before I do, let me just explain a cool fun fact about this album. This album was recorded simultaneously in 2 different locations, Adelaide, Australia, and Atlanta, USA. And pretty good album here. Stylistically, definitely a contemporary worship sound that definitely, as you would expect from Futures, contains some pop elements at some point as well. There's also some alternative elements here as well. Again, pretty good album here. And as for the lyrics here, love the lyrics here. So many good lyrics here on this album. Futures talks about pursuing Jesus for how in His love through His sacrificial blood on the cross and resurrection has saved them free from sin and fear, to change them, to surrender to Jesus, to be faithfully with them, to miraculously make a way for them, to tell others about Him. Well, that's it for this week. Come back next week for 5 more releases. If you like one on video, please subscribe. I put out videos every Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. Also, if you have any thoughts on today's releases or what I may have said about them, let me know down in the comments below. Also in the comments, you can let me know if there's any awesome releases that came out today that you want to see in next week's video. Also, check out the playlist section for the new edition of my Music Muffin Dream playlist, which I also released today. And this month's edition of the playlist includes songs from artists like Brandon Heath, Sidewalk Prophets, and others. So go and check that out if you're interested. Also, want to wish y'all a happy Labor Day weekend. It's been a great summer reviewing music, and Labor Day is the unofficial start of fall. And that being said, I am looking forward to giving y'all a great fall of reviews. Looks like we got some great music coming this way this fall. So, see you next week for the start of fall shows. Bye!